This is Choosing a Form of Business Ownership by William Zane Bennett. Choosing a form of business ownership depends on the responsibility you are willing to take. If you want sole ownership or partnership, also you want to grow your company into a corporation one day. We're going to take a look at all of these different types of ownerships in this presentation. Sole proprietorship, a business that is owned and usually operated by one person. Most sole proprietorships are small and have few employees. The owner decides when he or she is in business. An example of a sole proprietorship would be Annie Whitley's Snack Foods that created a cheddar cheese snack that was later sold to Frito-Lay. Annie's homegrown has become very competitive in a large industry, although Annie has remained the entrepreneurial heart of the company. Advantages of sole proprietorship. Ease of startup and closure. This is the simplest way to start a business. Usually the business only has to acquire the proper license or permit. If the company does not succeed, it can shut down as easily as it was created. Pride of ownership. A sole proprietorship that is successful gives the owner a sense of pride for his or her accomplishments. Retention of all profits. All profits become the personal earnings of the owner, thus giving the owner a strong incentive to succeed. No special taxes. The profits are taxed as the owner's personal income. Flexibility to be your own boss. You have complete control over your firm's operations. Disadvantages of sole proprietorship. Unlimited liability. This is a legality that holds the owner solely responsible for the company's debts. If the company is involved in a lawsuit and loses, then the owner's personal assets can be seized. Lack of continuity. This means if the sole proprietor dies, passes away, or becomes legally incompetent, the proprietorship does not carry on. Lack of money. This is one of the key issues with sole proprietorship. It doesn't have the funds as, say, a corporation or a partnership, and it makes it harder to generate capital. Limited management skills. It's hard to acquire and recruit knowledgeable employees because it's hard to pay the higher salaries that the corporations do. Difficulty hiring employees. This goes back to the whole being able to pay the high salaries. Partnerships. This type of business would be good for someone that does not want to have sole ownership. This is a voluntary association of two or more people to act as co-owners of a business. Types of partnerships. General partners assumes full or shared responsibility of operating a business, active in day-to-day operations. Limited partners, people or person who invest money in a business but has no management responsibility or liability for losses beyond their original investment. Advantages of partnership. Ease of startup. Availability of capital and credit. Personal interest. Combined business skill and knowledge. Retention of profits. No special taxes. The partnership agreement. The partnership agreement refers to the listing and explanation of the terms of a partnership. The partnership agreement should state the following: who will make the final decisions, what each partner's duties will be, the investment each partner will make, how much profit each partner will receive or is responsible for, what happens if either partner wants to dissolve the partnership. And here I've got an example of a partnership agreement form. Disadvantages of a partnership. Unlimited liability. Each general partner has unlimited liability for all debts. Management disagreements. Human factors including distrust, ethics, or disagreements can lead to the partnership to disband. Lack of continuity. Partnership is terminated if one of the partners dies, withdraws, or declared legally incompetent. Pros in investment. It can be hard to get your investment back if someone retires or terminates the partnership. This is why it's important to have a clause in the partnership agreement to buy a shareholder out. Corporations. A corporation is an artificial person created by law with most of the same rights as a person. This allows the following: the right to start and operate a business, the right to buy or sell property, the right to borrow money, the right to sue or be sued, the right to enter into binding contracts. The shares in a corporation are called stock. The people who own the stock in the company are known as shareholders. A closed corporation has very few stockholders. A open corporation stock can be sold and bought individually. Advantages of corporations. Limited liability. A stockholder is only responsible for the finances he or she has paid for stock in the corporation. Ease of raising capital. Corporations can borrow from lending institutions, raise additional money by selling stock in the company. Ease of transfer of ownership. Stock can be easily put up for sale. Ownership is transferred as soon as the stock is sold. Perpetual life. Corporations do not terminate with a key executive or owner dying, withdrawing, or incompetence. Specialized management. Corporations are able to hire and recruit more skilled, knowledgeable, and talented managers. This is because they can afford to pay higher salaries than sole proprietorships and partnerships. Disadvantages of corporations. Difficulty and expense of formation. Forming a corporation can be expensive and usually requires an attorney to complete paperwork and process. Government regulation and increased paperwork. Corporations must meet certain regulations before selling stock. Also, it must file its business operations and finances with local, state, and federal governments. Conflict within the corporation. With all the employees a corporation employs, conflict is inevitable. Double taxation. Corporations must pay taxes on their profits, and stockholders must pay personal income tax on profits. This means corporate profits are taxed twice. Lack of secrecy. Corporations are required to submit detailed reports to the government and stockholders. They cannot keep operations confidential. Special types of business ownerships. S corporation. This is a corporation that is taxed as if it were a partnership, only taxed as the personal income of the stockholders. Limited liability companies. A form of business ownership that includes the benefits of a corporation and a partnership while avoiding certain restrictions and disadvantages of both. Not-for-profit corporations. A corporation organized to provide social, educational, religious, or other services rather than to earn a profit, also known as a nonprofit. We're going to talk a little bit more about not-for-profit corporations. Wants to achieve goals rather than profits or dividends. Most not-for-profits are made up of groups of people working together for a common cause. Some of the top non-profit organizations are as follows: UNICEF, Human Rights Campaign, Museum of Modern Art, American Museum of Natural History. Joint ventures and syndicates. These are two types of business organizations used today for special purposes. These types are unique with more traditional forms of business. A joint venture is an agreement between two or more groups to form a business in order to achieve a specific goal to operate for a specific period of time. Corporations sometimes enter into a joint venture to share extremely high costs. A syndicate is a temporary association of individuals or firms organized to perform a specific task that requires a large amount of capital. Syndicates are commonly used to underwrite large insurance policies, loans, and investments. And this here is the Works Cited page, where I've got some of my photos and most of my information, along with our Introduction to Business book. Thanks.